Good evening.
Good evening.
And welcome to the August 24th regularly scheduled board meeting. The time is now 6:32. We're getting off to a late start due to some technical difficulties, but we definitely want to make sure that those viewing online have the opportunity that those here with us this evening have. And so we want to welcome you to this board meeting. Item 1B calls for invocation. We have Pastor Kevin from the First United Methodist Church in DeSoto. He'll lead us in that, after which we'll have our pledge students from Northside Elementary come and lead us in the pledge, following our mission statement read by Trustee Hooper. If we all don't mind standing for a word of prayer.
Let us pray. Dear God, we thank you for this place, these people. We thank you for the gift of knowledge, of education. Help us to use it in your will and not that of our own. Guide us, we pray. Help us to reconcile with one another. Help us to show your compassion, your kindness to each other. Help us to celebrate our time together. And help us to honor you with our words, our deeds. Bless each person here. Guide us, we pray, in the coming moments. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, our pledge students tonight are both from Northside Business and Law Magnet Academy. We have Jashawn McCall. He's in the 5th grade. His favorite subject is mathematics. His hobbies are that he plays football, baseball, basketball for the North Texas Seahawks. His favorite teacher is Miss Diaz. He would like to attend the University of Miami. He would like to be an entrepreneur like his dad. His parents are Mr. and Mrs. Eric McCoy, Mr. Eric McCoy and Miss Tiffany McCoy. He is the youngest of 3 brothers and 2 sisters. Are his parents in the audience? If so, please stand up and be recognized. Okay, and our other student is Mylisa Mitchell. She is in the 5th grade. Her favorite subject is reading. Her favorite teacher is Miss Boyd. She wants to attend Rocky Mountain Institute of Art and Design. She would like to be an actress first, and if that doesn't work, a writer. Her hobbies are singing, dancing, writing, and fashion. Her parents are Mr. Xavier Mitchell and Mrs. Megan Mitchell. And Mylisa has 2 sisters, one older and one younger. And if her parents are in the audience, would you please stand and be recognized?
Congratulations and thank you very much. Congratulations and thank you.
Hey, sounds good to me.
DeSoto ISD will prepare each student academically and socially to become a problem solver and productive citizen for a 21st century global society.
Thank you, Trustee Hooper. Thank you, Pastor Stremke, and thank you to our students from Northside Elementary. That brings us to item 1E, which is our emergency statement. I'll read that into our hearing right now. DeSoto ISD takes the safety of our students, employees, and guests very seriously, including those with us tonight. In an emergency situation such as a fire, please exit the building using one of the marked exits unless directed otherwise. Should we experience inclement weather such as a tornado, we will ask all guests to move quickly into the interior of the building away from all doors and windows. Our emergency operations administrator will monitor the situation at all times and advise of any potential situations, as well as coordinate with the emergency responders regarding when the situation has passed. Thank you. Item 1F calls for us to establish a quorum. We do have one with 6 board members present, which brings us to item 1G, which is the highlighted school, Northside Elementary.
We live in a world that is ever changing. In order to keep up with the demands of a fast-paced society driven by business and technology, the next generation will need a skill set that includes innovation, communication, finance, and self-promotion. Imagine a program where elementary students can learn about investing, marketing, and entrepreneurship.
At Northside Elementary Business and Law Academy, we'll teach students what business is, how it looks, and how it affects their daily lives.
Imagine a program where students will have the opportunity to better express their ideas, thoughts, and opinions.
At Northside, we'll train our students to be strong debaters by developing their research skills and logical thinking.
Imagine a program where students' progress is not limited by the availability of technology.
The Business Center will teach students how to invest, start their own business, and how to market their goods and services.
Imagine a program where students have the ability to experience the culture at the epicenter of the business world.
The grand finale of the Business and Law Magnet is our 5th graders going to the Big Apple, New York City. There they will experience a typical day in the mecca of business. They'll visit Wall Street and the financial district, the stock market exchange. They'll get to experience all of that. Of course, we're going to go see the Statue of Liberty, the World Trade Memorial, and you got to get a slice of pizza in New York City. Achievement always takes place in the framework of high expectations. At Northside Elementary, our motto is high expectations, no matter what.
If we were at church, that would have gotten a couple of amens along the way. And so that is something when Trustee Hooper, when you read our mission statement, and then we follow that right behind with the video of what we're looking for as a district and as a forward-looking vision for our students, Principal Ward and his staff have definitely captured that. And so we definitely want you and your staff, anyone that's here, to stand right now and be recognized for all your efforts there at Northside. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. And they run a tight ship there if you had the chance to stop by their campus today. So job well done. Job well done. That brings us to item 1H, which is special recognitions. We'll take special recognitions and 1I celebrations together. And tonight we don't have any, as school has just started, but we look forward to those special recognitions and celebrations coming very soon. That brings us to item 1J, citizens participation. And we do have one card this evening. Before I introduce our speaker, I will read into your hearing the policy regarding citizens participation. We have designated a portion of our meeting to hear from members of our community. This is not the forum for complaints. We have procedures for hearing complaints, and those must be exhausted before a matter is brought to the board. This is a posted public meeting of the board, not a meeting of the public. In accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, all meetings are open to the public and media. The board may hear some matters in executive session. However, any decision must be performed in an open meeting. In addition, we are not permitted to discuss items not on the agenda. Non-posted items may be considered for a future meeting. No presentation shall exceed 5 minutes, and delegations of 5 or more persons shall appoint one person to present their view. You're respectfully reminded to address the board and not the audience during your presentation. Our one card this evening comes from Esteban, Montenegro. If you would, step to the podium and announce your name and address for the record.
My name is Esteban Montenegro. I live at 1129 Ranch Valley Drive in DeSoto. I was here in the last session, and I had a meeting with Dr. Rucker, and she made us aware of the current ruling out of district play. I understand the rules, and I understand why it's there. We are aware and understand the policy that the DeSoto School District has on this topic, and we do understand it. However, I would like some reconsideration to allow my son to play based on the following. Appendix 1 of the UIL states Section 400B and 400B student transfers. When a student transfers from their home attendance zone campus district to a public high school in another school district to enroll in the magnet program, which he is, the student may not be eligible for varsity athletics at a high school other than the home attendance zone campus. The policy that addresses returning to home attendance zone campus to participate follows. When a student transfers out of district to public high school that does not participate in athletics, the student may petition administration of his home attendance zone campus, the zone where his parents reside, to represent the home attendance campus in athletics. And that's where we're at. I'm asking for permission to be granted for my son to play. We have been living in DeSoto for the last 8 years. I understand about the policy, and I understand the atrocities that happen within sports. We're within the guidelines of the UIL. I have devoted myself 22 years to law enforcement. I understand what it is to follow a policy, a law, and I think we're doing right. We haven't done anything wrong. My son has been accepted to Townview, and we're within the guidelines, and I understand that. And I ask the board, ladies and gentlemen, please allow him to play. I don't want all that to go to waste. So we understand. If anybody can help us out and call us, please, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And we've received your information, and you'll have a response coming forward.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir. Board, that brings us to item 2, which is our consent items. Under consent for this evening, we have item A, which is the annual membership retainer for legal services, B, budget amendment, and C, minutes from the previous meetings. Again, this is items under the consent agenda. And at this time, I'll entertain a motion if there be any from the board.
Second.
Motion to approve presented by Trustee Gant, second by Trustee Hooper. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries 6-0. That brings us to item 3, which calls for reports. We'll take items A through C. At the same time, July financials, July tax collections, and quarterly investment report. Dr. Harris.
Yes, sir. Mr. President, I'm going to ask Mr. Laborde if he would hit the highlights within those financials and the quarter investment report.
Thank you, Dr. Harris, members of the board. As you know, it's only the first month after we just got started, so there's not a lot to report on at this time. As you know, we're just like I said, we're just getting underway, so there's not a lot of information on the general fund or in the school breakfast and lunch program. The only thing that we've got going right now is just trying to make sure that we're getting everything paid and get all the right people into payroll. So the next couple of months should be a little more entertaining than this one was. On your July tax collections, once again, kind of the same thing. We've got the 1 month. Just remember that the city is, the county is on the October 1 date, so they're going to go through September. So as you see there, current levy is 98.27, and you can see our total budget is collected is 0.36. You'll understand that we're in a new fiscal year, but they won't be in one for quite a while yet. So that number will continue to be a little bit unusual until that point where our fiscal years start coming together. But we are on schedule, as you can see from last year. Our quarterly investment report as of June 30th, 2015. Once again, we're starting to see a little bit of an uptick in the interest rates, but it's still not anywhere that's any cause for any dancing and shouting and sending out balloons or anything. We're still in the point somethings, but we're not at the 0.02s and the 0.03s like we were. Now we're up to the 0.06s and the 0.13s and the 0.28s on an occasion. So as of right now, we've got a good portfolio. We're well diversified. We're following all the legal rules. We're completely liquid, and everything is $1 market value. We are outperforming the T-bills and the notes. So we're about 85% in the pools and about 15% in certificates of deposit. Excuse me. Like I say, once again, we're not doing anything great right now, but we are following the policies that are available through the PFIA. And if you have any questions about any of those, I'll be glad to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Laborde. Board, this is a report item. We get every month, but we will entertain any questions or discussions at this time. All right, seeing and hearing none. That brings us to item 3D, which is employments, resignations. Dr. Harris.
Yeah, once again, this is a report, Mr. President and Board. As you can see that we've been busy the last few weeks on the hiring side, and we're very fortunate on the retirement and resignation side. We only have one.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. Board, this is a report item once again. If there be any questions, discussion? Trustee Gant.
Just one quick question. Dr. Grover, I had an opportunity to watch some of the news reports today, and I noticed that although it shows that we have not filled all of our positions, that we are not the only school district in that position, i.e. Dallas needs 170 more teachers. So I know it's a very competitive market right now, as well as there's just not a lot of people going into the profession. How are you looking as far, and I did get the report that you emailed out, but how are we looking in regards to what our needs are?
Thank you, Mr. Gant, Board President, and others. Absolutely, Mr. Gant. We are collectively as school districts experiencing a teacher shortage. I think it's an article that continues to come out in a number of different platforms. In terms of our openings, we're actually doing pretty good. It just kind of all depends on how you look at that in terms of our core areas. English continues to be a challenge for us in terms of trying to secure someone who's qualified and that meet our expectations in that particular light. We are continuing to interview and we are looking at some other avenues, including alternative certification or looking at who's the best individual we can place in the classroom going forward. As far as our other openings, we do, I do tend to list if they have someone recommended for that particular position. For example, science at the Meadows is one of their content areas. They do have someone who's recommended. So primarily math at East Middle School. We are looking at our numbers, engaging those. We potentially have a teacher maybe at another campus we can relocate, just depending on our numbers. So we are addressing them as quickly and effectively as possible. But overall, our content areas are pretty secure, and I know that that's probably where the principals' focus have been on their major classrooms and content areas, and we should have no problem filling the positions such as aides and things like that. You see a number of our positions include that in the administrative realm. That's not going to be a problem at all, but I think our main focus has been on those classroom teachers and content areas.
So it's more or less, what I'm understanding you to say, it's more or less finding qualified individuals. It's nothing that DeSoto ISD has done to not get these candidates. It's more they're just not there.
Yes, the candidates themselves are just scarce. And as you know, where we sit here in DeSoto, we're in the DFW Metroplex. That means that we have a lot of other districts that are right around us that are experiencing the same, type of issue. And they're having to make some of the same decisions that we're having to make. Just who is the most qualified or most effective adult we can put in the classroom at this time.
Okay. Well, if you would, just let us know, of course, through Dr. Harris, if you would, anything that we can do to assist, if there's any type of incentive, stipends, anything that we need to consider in order to get good candidates, just get that information to us so we can help you in any way we possibly can to get these positions filled.
And yes, sir. And we will be looking at some of that for some of our specialized positions in the special education realm, because these are the same positions that tend to be open all of last year. You'll see probably a number of them, probably about 5 or 6 collectively together. And we are going to have to take a look at our pay scale, because we're trying to attract those people from the public market as well.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Gant. There'll be no other questions or comments. Thank you, Dr. Grover. We'll move on to item 4, which is our actions discussions. Item 4A calls for proposal for the high school library renovation. Dr. Harris.
Yes, sir, Mr. President and Board. Of course, we've been planning this for a long time to start our renovation for our high school library. I think that some of you have seen the renderings for that, which is quite impressive. It will be a library that's very accessible and more collegiate type of environment, very much of an open concept, and also inviting to our community. So we would like not only for our students to utilize the library, but we'd also like for our community to have access as well. We really want to make it a kind of a opportunity for families to get together in that library, and so that we have an additional space available from the city library. So really excited to be colorful and really inviting to our students and to our community as well. So the recommendation is to award the DeSoto High School Library renovation to SCM Construction Services for a total cost of $1.297 million.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. This is an action item. Cabinet and administration's requesting that we take action on this tonight. I do want to let you know that we do have a member from the construction company here as well, if you have any questions that need to be addressed to him. Trustee Hooper.
Mr. President, I move adoption of the recommendation of the superintendent.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Trustee Moncrief.
Fortunately, I haven't seen those plans. I think they were probably disseminated prior to me getting sworn in. However, I did get an opportunity to visit with the high school today. I had a tour with Dr. Lamb, and I did see that library in person for myself. The current condition of the library, and without even seeing a plan, I know that something good is going to come out of this new plan.
And I know nobody asked, but I know what it is. But Mr. Lucio, how long should it take to actually come from start to finish on that library? So everybody knows. Okay. And I wanted to do that. So.
My name is John Lucio. I'm with a company called JAL Architect Group. To answer your question, the schedule we're looking at currently is to start construction in the beginning of September. And the idea would be to complete construction at the beginning of December, so that that would allow the district the rest of the month of December to get the library ready for the start of the next semester after the Christmas break.
So about a 3-month process.
Correct. About a 3-month process, correct.
That's outstanding.
Thank you. Are there any other questions, Board? All right, thank you for being with us this evening. Board, we have a motion to approve by Trustee Hooper, a second by Trustee Gant. Call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Aye. That motion carries 5-1. It brings us to item 4B, middle school technology implementation. Dr. Harris.
Also, that we've been trying to really catch ourselves up with technology in the district, and I think we got the last final touches for everyone, where we have current computers at elementary, middle, and high school. So the recommendation is approval to order additional computers to meet the needs of all of our students at our middle schools.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. Board, you've heard the recommendation. Administration. Is there a motion at this time?
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Gant, second by Trustee Hall. Any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries 6-0. As we know, it is the start of school, and so historically our first agenda on the night of the first day of school has been light, but we have certainly done a lot of business in a short period of time. So, a record-breaking time, Trustee Hooper says. And that brings us to item 5. Yeah. That brings us to item 5, which is comments from the board. I will start to my right. No, I'll start to my right. I already said it. I'm sorry. I'll start to my right, Trustee Gant.
No comment.
All right. Trustee Hall.
Privileged to be at several of the schools today. Looked like they were all excited and ready to go to school. I saw one lost kid. He was left at Amber Terrace. He's in the 6th grade. I don't know what happened. The bus driver got him to McAllen, so he was a little unhappy, but I think he'll probably be all right. At the high school today, saw my first hoodie in a classroom. A neat little work there, looks like. But overall, I was really impressed. At the high school, when I got there at 10 o'clock, it was pretty much everybody was at task. I stopped at 2 or 3 of the rooms with kids, and they seemed to be all excited and going to work. So
as far as I'm concerned, it seems like we got off to a pretty good start. I was at Northside first, and man, they were busy. So I left there. Go somewhere where it's a little quieter and a little more, those kids, I'm too old for those young kids. But it was exciting. I think a lot of them were excited, and I was impressed with how the teachers and the principals were all getting their job done. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Hall. And for those not familiar with this humor, we don't have any sixth graders at Amber Terrace. So, but that joke was definitely well received. So thank you very much for that. Trustee Hooper.
So I got a chance to spend my lunch break at the West Male Leadership Academy. And so it was definitely an enjoyable experience to see those kids excited about learning the creed, learning about the expected behaviors, and getting used to a new experience. But they were embracing the challenge with little resistance. And so I'm definitely impressed with the team that Principal Lewis helped to assemble. And so also excited about the paint job, the white walls and all that. That's real boring. So the kids were fascinated about the different colorful hallway, and hopefully there'll be some other things that will be done in the classroom in terms of adding a little color. But kids were definitely impressed, like, all this for us. So absolutely. And so we're excited about, the direction that we're moving that program. Got a chance to visit with the kids in iSteam also, and they were busy moving all over the place and collaboratively learning and doing all of that fun stuff. And so we left them, and then I went back to work. But it was a great start of school. Got nothing but positive feedback. Got a few calls about the high school, just about scheduling stuff. But I was like, hey, man, it's the first day of school. Give us a little time. But I've heard nothing but positive things about the start of school, and we're looking to, transforming this school district into a world-class school district. And so hats off to all the administrators and the rest of the team. Dr. Harris. Oh, and I got to vote today, so that was an exciting experience. And the polls are open to 9 o'clock for those of you who don't know, right here in the Beltline Center. So they're ready to receive you, and they're extremely friendly.
Thank you, Trey.
Yeah, I got to vote with Mr. Hall, with Trustee Hall also.
Thank you, Trustee Hall. Trustee Moncrief.
I had a chance to visit a number of schools today. Most of them was my first time visiting. I found Mopes. And it's a well-run machine over there. I got a chance to reconnect with some teachers that they retired, but they just loved teaching so much. They were back now, but they're just in a different location at Mopes. Had a chance to visit middle school. Got a chance to see Principal Lewis and the iSteam and the Leadership Male Academy at work. I thought that was really fascinating. We have some great things going on. Got a chance to get over to Cockrell Hill, and our principals are doing a great job at facilitating, just making it all run pretty smoothly. Oh, that high school. That was my first experience. Imagine standing in the hallway at class change with thousands of students who were a lot bigger and taller than me, all coming at me, and I'm just standing there like, what in the world is going on? But there was order. Even though it seemed chaotic, there was definitely order there. I certainly got a good understanding of how it all functioned. There were just so many moving parts. And, Dr. Lamb, I don't know how you do it, walking around that high school every day, and you tell me you get around that entire campus every day. You got a Fitbit? But overall, I'm excited about what this new year holds for the kids. Just excited about all the possibilities. Just excited about the excited faces showing up to be at school today. Went over to that Amber Terrace. Amber Terrace looks great. Dr. Lemonnier, you and your team have just done an outstanding job. Made me want to go back to pre-K, hanging out with Anya and Elsa and Mickey Mouse. But the just bright, eager faces, just ready to learn, and everybody seems to be plugged in and engaged, and I'd say it was a great way to start off the 2015-2016 school year. So kudos to all of you and everything that you do to keep this district running in the right direction.
Thank you, Trustee Moncrief. Trustee Daniel.
Okay, since the last time we were in this room, quite a few events have taken place. We had summer school graduation, which was very exciting and went very well. We had new teacher reception. All those eager new teachers don't know what they're in for. Convocation, the speaker at Convocation was great. She had a good message for everybody. Really enjoyed that. We took a tour of Amber Terrace on Saturday, quite impressive. The bathrooms are especially interesting if anybody wants to go look at them. I did have the opportunity to vote today also, but I think I was there before those two were. And I visited the Meadows, and the principal at Meadows, Dr. Hawthorne, put me to work immediately. She said, third, fourth, and fifth grade are down here, first and second grade is there, kindergarten is there. Would you stand here, please? So I stood there, and I was the traffic cop for about 2.5 hours. But it was fun. I got to see lots of my former students when they were bringing their younger brothers and sisters and their own children to the Meadows. And I'm telling you, everything was organized, organized, organized. It went very well.
Thank you, Trustee Daniel. Trustee Stripling's not with us tonight, so I'll use his time, right? I normally don't say anything. But obviously it's exciting first day of school. After I dropped my kids off at Ruby Young, I was able to go to all campuses and see everything that you guys have been working towards over the summer. So great job, administration. Principals that you guys have put in place are doing a phenomenal job, and so they should be rewarded for that. Their hard work and diligence to make sure all the classrooms are filled and that our expectations are being met on a daily basis. So definitely kudos to them as well. And so with no further comments, Dr. Harris.
Yes, sir. Mr. Sherman, just very quickly, I just want to make some comments along the lines of kind of first day. And things did go very well, but we would always like to see things better. And so just a couple of requests from our team to parents, anyone that may be listening. Just want to remind that the online, when parents are registering online, if they are returning students, they can do everything online. It's no problem. I mean, they can download the documents, absolutely no problem. Students shows up at school. If they are new to the district, families new to the district, they can do the online registration, but they still got to come to the school, and it will speed up the process if they do it ahead of time. So you don't have to worry about all the other documents if they do that ahead of time, and that would really speed up the process. I know that some of our new students, which we had several today, felt like if I did everything online, but even though you do it online, if you're new, we really don't know who's attached to you. So we really need you to still show up with a parent, but the process will be a lot faster if they register online first. Bus routes ran smoothly, but you know, we're always working to get better with so many bus routes that we have in a very small vicinity that we're in here in DeSoto. So there's a lot of moving parts, as you say, Ms. Moncrief. So we're always tweaking the buses till we get them just right, where we get kids there on time for breakfast as well, and so that they can eat breakfast and get to class. And so we're always tweaking those bus routes. But I want to assure families that as changes are made, we will continue to contact parents and let them know if there are any changes. They can always call Ms. Johnson and check in and see if there's been a change to their transportation. And we're going to do our best to over-communicate as far as some of the things that's going on within the district so parents know. But this is the start of the school year. We never know how many are going to be car riders, how many are actually going to ride the bus. But I'm sure after parents get over the separation anxiety, they can go from riding in the car to get on the bus. So we'll adapt to that. So we'll also remind parents that you need to have an updated shot record. And so we'll be contacting parents and get those shot records in, so that's also important. And then we also, for the safety of all our students, we ask that all our parents and community people will please observe all school zones. We're very blessed the last few years that we've not had any incidents that I know of within our school zones, and we certainly want to keep it that way. I also want to remind parents that at the beginning of the school year, there's always going to be lines when it comes to picking up and dropping off students. You know, everyone feels like they're going to pick up right at pickup time. And if everybody shows up at 3:15, all 600 of you show up at, somebody's got to be at the end of the line. So just give us a little time as we work through that process. And I assure you, if you remember last year when we finally got to it, everybody figured out where their place was in line and it moved smoothly. So a little patience there will certainly help us, and we'll communicate that as well. Also, we want to encourage, we're quite a bit ahead. We're about 300 students where we're at this point last year, but we're not where we were last year at the end of the year. So we do have some students who have not showed up. And I know typically, there's still some idea of school doesn't start till after Labor Day. Well, it starts before Labor Day. And so if you know of students that are out there that are waiting, please get them to come to school, because if you think about Labor Day, that's about 2 weeks away. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of quality teaching time that's taking place, and that has a big impact. So if you see a little neighbor running around after you get ready to leave for work and he's not headed to school, you may want to remind him that he needs to, so we can all police ourselves and get kids in school where they need to be, where they're not hanging around doing other things. So those are some of the things that we can all work together to make sure that things run smoothly. I do feel like we're all accountable for each other and for this community that we have, or village, or however you want to look at it. And if we could just get everybody, working together and understanding that there is a process to this, and everyone's working hard to ensure that the process works correctly. And finally, on tomorrow, our middle schools will have open house. And at that same time, parents who have not taken opportunity to vote, we would ask them to do so, to just go vote and go see what's happening. We're not telling you how to vote, but we're asking you to definitely go vote, and it will make a significant difference for our school district if you go and just look at the material that's there. Remind you that it would bring an additional $4.6 million to our school district just by voting. I'm not telling you how to vote. I'm just telling you to bring additional $4.6 million and lower taxes at the same time. This is a great time. You always talk about timing. For understand, home values, Ms. LaVoy, is that right, went up this year? Home values goes up, taxes come down, makes $4.6 million to the school district. That's like the perfect situation. You can ask for a perfect situation. And plus, just as you saw from Mr. Ward and his school, and meeting the 21st century needs of our students. Great job, Mr. Ward. I was really impressed by that video. That tells a really good story in a really small period of time of what we've got to do to get our students ready. And certainly we want to make sure that all of our students are learning, and we're engaging them at that level where they'll be able to really have those 21st century skills. So hats off to you and your team for coming a really good presentation about what our students need. So just one announcement, and I know that football season is right around the corner. As a matter of fact, Saturday, August the 29th at 4:00 p.m. Bring your sunscreen, and because it's at 4:00. Okay, but we will play Arlington Martin at Newsom Stadium. It will be at Is that the game? Yes. It will be a televised ESPN game, so you might get a chance to even get yourself on TV if you show up. So that'll be our first our first game, it would take place at Arlington Martin. Yeah, I think that's enough for one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. And let's make sure when we form this agenda, if we're going to put football on there, we need to put volleyball as well. And so let's make sure we put that on there moving forward, as our girls do a wonderful job.
Volleyball game is actually tomorrow.
Volleyball game's tomorrow. What time, Doc?
I think the first game starts at 6. I'm looking for the volleyball people. Any volleyball people? Right? 6:30, 7:30. Absolutely.
All right,
6:30,
very well.
7:30. Mhm.
Very well. Thank you so much, Dr. Harris.
4 o'clock, 6:30, 7:30. And one last thing, and this one last thing, and I just ask that everyone would certainly please remember, golly, Miss Graves. I'm sorry, her name's been on my mind. Miss Graves and her family, her husband is going through some tough times right now, and she would certainly appreciate us taking some time to remember her. She's been a jewel to me, and so and certainly to the rest of the district as well. And just quite honestly, it's just a very difficult time right now. So get choked up a little bit. But you know, when you're part of the family, it means a lot. So let's keep her in our prayers. All right.
We'll definitely do that. Board, if there are no further comments, believe it or not, it is only 7:18, and we will call this meeting adjourned.